I missed you. And I was living a life. I was like, deep into my 40s, had a bank full of money. I ate out every night, slept in every morning. I saw movies on the day they opened, and I thought to myself, how can I put a stop to this? I was living this lifestyle right here. Yeah.
Is that the same shirt?
Actually, that is the same shirt. That's your... That is,
It's the same shirt!
That is the same shirt again. That is the same shirt.
Was this all today?
No, that is spread out over like 15 years. That is about 15 years difference. Those are my two little girls who look like that. Then now they look like this.
Question?
Yeah.
Do you sleep with your door locked?
Bolted. I have a deadbolt on my door at night. Honestly, most nights I don't even sleep because terrifying, right?
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and you're watching the Parents Lounge. And if you're not, you're a dadgum communist. Get her done.
We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Happy Tuesday, everybody!
Hello!
I'm Jamie Kaler. I'm joined, of course, by my partner in crime, Mr. Jason Gowan. We're kind of in the haze of a super fun weekend. That clip at the top was from our live show that we did in Sayre, Pennsylvania, and it was so much fun, dude.
Was it real? Because I feel like in some euphoric way that the whole thing was not even it was real, but yet I kind of think it might have been.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. By the way, the cropping was, I think we were punched in pretty tight on that video. Did you feel it?
I did. I think it was a framing from the original video. I'll work on it for next week.
Well, we'll get our technical. Listen, we're two idiot dads. I just came running into the room. Look who Sarah was at the show. We have an amazing show for you tonight. We already have Clare Kramer is here from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Bring it on, superstar. She's been here before. She's a rock star. And Kate Mulligan is coming. We had over the weekend, we hung as two dads, and we decided, we need some more mom interaction.
Yeah, for sure. Although we met for the first time in real life on Friday.
I forgot about that. I totally forgot. It was funny because I was flying all the way there, and I'd never met you. And so I was, I wasn't sure you were even a real person.
No, I was actually concerned that you were catfishing me in one of those Nigerian scams and that you were actually like a 67-year-old Vietnamese woman.
And I thought you were just someone I had wronged someone in life, and you were luring me to Pennsylvania to whack me and then bury me, in a landfill of some sort.
Nope, we just drank a whole lot.
We did. We drank. Hey, how about a big shout out to our buddy Trevor at the what's it called? The Bryn Marie?
The Bryn Marie Inn, yeah. We got Trevor big time.
So I stayed. It was like Groundhog Day, like the little the bed and breakfast that you would like. Here, so I go to Sayre, Pennsylvania. By the way, I landed at 1:00 in the morning in Buffalo, and then I drove 3 hours from 1 to 4 a.m. I drove to the middle of Pennsylvania through New York, upstate New York, just over the border. And everyone I told that to all day, this is the only thing they said to me, said, watch out for the deer. And so the whole night I was driving like this. I had set it up. I was just playing music and I was just staring. I was watching the lane go by from 1 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the morning, a 3-hour drive, just waiting for a deer to come out and smash it. And it's funny. I mean, it's not funny. I didn't hit one, but somebody obviously hit one right in front of me because I saw a dead deer, 4 dead raccoons, 3 dead possums, and about 1,000 squirrels. It was the ghost zoo down the freeway there.
Did you see a ghost?
Of a squirrel. I saw many animal ghosts that were, I was starting to hallucinate by the time I got there. And the hotel, this is kind of how the hotel works. They left me a punch code. I walked in, there was literally no one there. It was like it was like your grandmother's house. And it was like, and then I creeped up the stairs and my hotel room was just open. I just walked in. That was it. And there was a little key and I locked it from the inside. Nothing says welcome to upstate New York like roadkill. Dude, a lot of food going to waste in roadkill. Like really, there was some good victuals I would have imagined.
Did you pack some up and fly them back with you, like in your carry-on? You had
dude, we had a possum barbecue this morning and it was fantastic. We just grilled them up, just had some fried eggs and some possum strips. It was fantastic. I
have to ask, how'd the girls like their stuff?
So it was really funny. So we had the little Parents Lounge t-shirts. So by the way, big thumbs up to Sarah, who ran the Sayer Theater. Like they rolled out the red. Oh, I don't have the cookies. I should go grab one of the Parents Lounge cookies. Do you have any next to you?
I don't next to me.
There's only like 3 left. Cookies with logos on it. And so when I got into this like antique room, there was all kinds of food and there was a card that said, I don't think anyone's ever rolled out the red carpet like that. And so there were all these treats. And one of the treats was Lucky Charms without the cereal. It was just marshmallows. It was just the Lucky Charm marshmallows. And when I brought them home, my kids, their heads exploded. And so they took a bunch to school today. And it's like, they were the biggest success at school. My daughter, Claire, was like, Dad, I gave out those marshmallows to everyone in my class and everybody loved them. And I was like,
so she's back dealing again, huh?
She's dealing straight up crack, man. Speaking of which, my addiction kind of came back in today and got the best of me. I don't know if you know this. I have a little Jones for Nashville chicken.
I do know that. Yes.
Yeah. I like the spicy chicken. And so I kind of had a craving today. I had it for lunch. And then an hour later, I went and played soccer with my daughter's soccer team. And it's a terrible decision. I've made some terrible decisions. And that was a bad one.
I had soccer Monday night and I was still like, well, you weren't kidding about the post-show crash.
I know.
And I had to go to soccer. And I don't know if there was a full moon or what it was with the children, but they were like wild ass chimpanzees at the zoo. I had to pull another kid. I caught one of the kids like threatening another kid. And I had to he didn't know I was standing directly behind him. And he's like, if I see you miss again, I'm going to slap you. And I'm like, actually, you won't be slapping anybody. And he was like busted. And so like, we were just, I'm coaching the Mighty Ducks, Jamie. I basically was handed Bad News Bears.
I watched Bad News Bears last night. All right, we can't talk about the coaching stuff until.
All right, because Claire's
soccer. She goes on the road. She has some serious athlete children, and she goes out. So we'll have to
I need to pick her brain about what to do with my team.
Clare Kramer, Kate Mulligan coming in momentarily. But for the weekend, they were asking about the Heckler that we had. Do you want to tell the Heckler story?
I do recall.
Yeah, and you had never seen it. Here's what I was most impressed with, because we got up and we did our stand-up together and stuff, but you can tell everyone you've never really done stand-up before.
Never. I had never done stand-up ever.
It's pretty amazing. I was pretty blown away, and all of our friends were like, how did he do? And I was like, he crushed it. Because it was funny. We kind of took all the stories we had told over the last 6 months around on the show, and you just kind of put them into the show. And so you told the insane stories about the turkey chasing you down and all the stuff with your kids and stuff. And I thought it was super fantastic.
Thank you. I had a good teacher. And you were so helpful, Jamie, and like kind of showing me what to do and what, more importantly, not to do. And
well, then we had a heckler, and what was first in your head? And I forget what she said. She said some crazy stuff.
I've heard about you was her first line.
Oh, she did. Is that what she yelled?
That's what she yelled the first time.
Because we were talking after, and you were like, "Wow, man, you dealt with that heckler well." And I was like, been doing this for like 20 years, so I just destroyed that to the point where tell everyone what happened, where she was in the bathroom.
So, to try and calm the situation down, Jamie offered a free glass of wine on my credit card, and then she went and got it. And unfortunately, karma interfered and put a hole in her cup, and it spilled all down the front of her shirt. Now, somehow, she believes that Jamie Kaler has psychic abilities, and from the stage, while still performing, psychically read to them and said, "Poke a hole in her cup. This is intentional." So a friend of mine heard them in the bathroom after they left the theater part of it, and they were calling their crew to come beat Jamie and I's asses after the show.
Yeah. So you told me that before I went back to, grandma's house at the hotel, where I was like, I'm pretty wide open. It would be pretty easy to whack me here. And honestly, I was borderline scared a little bit. I was a little like, wow, because I've seen it happen where any fight between two guys is always caused by a woman. Do you think that? We'll ask the girls when they come in.
Yeah, we'll ask the girls. I don't know. I was terrified. I've never been in that situation before.
Whenever there was a fight in the bar, when I bartended for years, the fight was always about a woman. Like there was a woman involved. She was. It was always because two dudes don't really want to fight. Guys don't want to fight.
We just want to drink.
But their ego and their pride. That's why I bounced for years and I never got into a fight because have we talked about this? I'm writing this into my book, How to Live a Perfect Life. And the fact is like they're just words. So I'd be bartending or whatever, and I'd have to throw the guy out, and the guy goes, "You're a giant pussy," or he'd call me like unbelievable derogatory terms, and I go, "Dude, you have no idea. I honestly am the biggest pussy you're ever gonna meet." And he was like shocked, and I'd go, "Oh my god, I'm such a sissy. You wouldn't believe it. I've never been and I just would go with it. He'd go, "You're a loser," and I go, "You, dude, total loser. I'm sleeping in the dumpster tonight." Like I would just go along with it, and then finally the guy would get frustrated and just not hit me and walk away. Have you been in a lot of fights in your life?
Yeah, the guy hit me with a car.
What? I said, this is how that just went. I said, "Have you been in a lot of fights?" And you were like, "Yeah, a guy hit me with a car."
Correct.
I don't know if you know how fights work, but that's not really a fight. That's you got hit by a car.
Well, it was a fight I lost. I didn't have a lot.
Well, I don't know if anybody can beat up a car.
So I don't know if you've noticed about these, but sometimes my mouth runs a little bit. And I may have, so this was the guy that my ex-wife cheated with, and he didn't like me terribly a lot. And he tracked me down after the bar one day, while I was at the car wash, and he literally, I managed to move just enough, but he clipped me, and I rolled over the hood like Winnie the Pooh.
Claire's watching too. She may have questions. Your wife cheated on you with him.
Correct.
And he was angry at you.
Correct.
Okay. Historically speaking, typically the guy who gets cheated on would most of the time be angry with the other guy.
You'd think. I have one of those faces
I would be angry at the woman.
Punch.
Say again? I would be
I don't know. I have one of those. Go ahead, Jamie.
I would be angry at the woman, but it's always the guy. His wife cheats on him, and the guy's always pissed at the other dude. And you're like, well, the dude has nothing to do with it. The woman cheated on you.
Yes.
So he's with your wife, but he's angry that you're still in the picture, or what's happening?
Or that I existed at all, basically.
It sounds like a Sounds like a serious issue we got to deal with. Oh, Kate's here. You know what? Maybe it's time for some female input into what's happening. Do you want to do the intros?
You can do the intros and I'll bring them in.
Please welcome our guests this week. They've both done the show before, which is kind of why we wanted to have them, because even this weekend when we did the shows, halfway through the show, we were like, look, we're two idiots. We need a mom. And so we would do bits and then look out to the woman who was the mom of the show. And she'd either go thumbs up or thumbs down. She'd go, yeah, you're right. Or she'd go, no, you're both idiots. So we decided to have some moms in the show. So we're doing kind of a parental view. So please welcome our guests tonight, Clare Kramer and Kate Mulligan.
Hi. Oh, Claire's
Hello.
legit. Great. You brought in somebody legit and then me in my bedroom. Fantastic.
Oh, Claire, because Claire has like a professional studio.
Claire's in a studio. Yeah. I'm in my marital bed. You know.
Here we go. She always thinks we do her dirty on this show.
Hey, don't be dirty like this.
That's kind of her go-to. I mean,
oh, Claire, we can't hear you, honey. Oh no.
Claire, we can't hear you.
Now we can't hear you, Claire.
Oh no.
You get your sound
Well,
check.
that's because I was muted.
Oh.
I was like,
It looked like you were saying something
Easy
funny.
solution this time. I was saying I like your duvet cover. First of all, it's very nice. And second of all, I was saying Jamie has a bed bit in his new album, and you're immediately. I'm like, how many kids are in your bed with you each night? I want to know.
Goose egg.
Oh,
They don't.
You don't allow the kids in the bed, Kate?
it's like
No.
Jamie's dog policy.
Yeah. Yes, that is. I have the same policy with my kids as Jamie has with his dogs.
How
Eat off
old
the
are the-
floor. Wipe your ass with your shit. Yeah.
Kate, how old are your kids? Let's break it down.
I've got one that's almost 4,
Okay.
and I've got a 6-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
How about you?
They're not in your bed. I have a 13, an 11, a 9, and a 7.
I'm sorry. That sounded like 4 children.
That was. That's no pets and no extra relationships. So
There's an award for you somewhere on this planet. 4 kids,
yes.
and all of them single birds. If I'm doing the math
Yes,
correctly.
single bursts, yes. The 24 months apart, 25 months apart, and 15 months apart are the increments. And so when my 4th was born, my oldest was 5.
Dude, that is. So you had 4, 5 and under. Oh my god,
Yes.
that's crazy.
But I'm alive. I'm
yeah.
here to say it can be done.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
It,
No, I'm just kidding.
it was. So yes, that's true about me. But I'm in awe that your 4 and 6-year-old are in your bed. What are you doing right? What are you doing, Kate?
Oh, we were just, that was like the one, I was saying this to them last time. My kids don't eat healthy. They're sort of like they don't read, like they can't, but sleep was my only thing. So I did like the lock them in the room and like cackle outside as they cry themselves to sleep, sort of regimented training.
Like the Wicked
So
Witch
that
of the
was,
West.
we sort of, yeah, I was like, sleep, monkey, sleep.
And they did. And
Yeah.
they do.
And they did, and they do. But that being
whatever
said,
the Wizard of Oz did have, though, wouldn't it be great if you could just do that at night as opposed to like getting in bed and knowing you have to get up in like 4 hours and your heart's racing? If you could just do that, sleep, and then we all just were like,
I think we're all just looking for the most simplified version of parenting that is still acceptable. You know, like
Yes.
give me the basic version where I don't have to like reach out, do all the, extra things, but it's still like not frowned on by society. So I think that's
Right.
really,
Jobo's here. Jobo's here. Jobo's back, baby.
Jobo's back. Jobo, we love Jobo. Jobo's
We
funny.
love Jobo.
Jobo's funny. He has to do the
Jobo's
show
really
eventually.
funny. He also said hello to Claire. Jobo.
Oh, hi, Jobo.
When you
Hi.
first said that, I
He's
thought you were
good
talking
people.
about my daughter, and I was like, he said what to my daughter?
Yeah. What? Wait, what did he say? No.
So-
See, there's a slight different pronunciation between Claire with an I and Claire without an I. Your daughter
Wait, what
is
is it?
Claire, and I'm Claire.
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
I
That
like
sounds like
that.
an SNL bit where it's like you can't.
Yeah.
Claire,
Mhm.
Claire.
I'm
Claire.
giving you fodder here.
There's it's
We
like
have
almost
some
like there's a
recommend-
yeah.
Claire.
My daughter has, they're on a soccer team. And so we had the uniforms, right? And one of the moms was like, hey, give me all the uniforms and I'll put all the kids' names on the back. And we're like, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
So we send them over. She has really professionally done. It's like Claire, Hannah across their back and stuff. And we go to play the game and the league, AYSO, was like, they almost didn't let us play. They were like, can't put your names on the back. And we were like, what are you talking about? They said, you cannot have the names on the back. And at first we're like, what are you? And then they go, it's because you don't want some dude to walk up and go, hey, Claire, your dad told me to pick you up and drive you home. You don't want, and then I was like, oh, actually, no, it's kind of, no,
it makes sense.
Are you allowed to have your, are you allowed to have your last name?
Well, I can speak from our club. My kids both play for LAFC Youth, and they are now only on the jersey the number, on the backpack only the last name, no first name.
Okay.
What about like an Instagram, your handle or your Twitch?
That's all your own doing, you know.
Because obviously, I mean, at that age, the goal is to brand and monetize what they're doing.
Are your kids
I can
branding
retire?
yet, Claire?
What'd you say?
Are your kids branding yet?
Are they? I did let my 11-year-old, who is in a dance, a pretty intensive dance program. I did let her start in Instagram. And actually, you know what? I got to be honest, Jason. I didn't let her start it. She was holding my phone one day and started them, and I have not shut them down. So she has a TikTok and an Instagram account, and then my 9-year-old and my 13-year-old also started TikTok accounts. My 9-year-old only posts about animals on his, so I'm fine with that. The 13-year-old doesn't really post too much. And actually the 11-year-old's pretty good. None of them have devices. They don't have iPads. They don't have phones. So they all go through my phone, which is another nightmare.
That sounds terrible.
But I'm not willing to acquiesce and get them their own devices. So I'm like, I'd rather monitor everything on my watch than allow them to, have their own free reign. So that's a whole nother component of the, teenage years.
I respect that greatly. Is there kickback from that?
Oh my gosh, they all hate me. Like I'm constantly like, everyone in my class has a phone but me. And I'm like, who are you turning into right now? From Poltergeist or whatever. It's not true. And then really it is true, because I went to the 7th grade and the 6th grade at the school where Jamie and I have children. And I did a little exploratory, Renaissance mission, and in fact, everyone in those grades has phones except my kids. And I'm like, you know what? Too bad. I always tell them, you know what? If you're out, they're like, well, I need to call you. And I'm like, turn to your left, turn to your right. Everyone has a phone. Tell them you need to use it to call your mom. And 90% of the people will say yes. So
do you, one thing you could tell your kids is that, you know what else every kid in your class has? Whores for parents. Did you ever tell them that? Let them know.
I haven't yet.
Thank you, Jason. Let them know that.
My kids go to that school. Kate, what are you
sorry.
talking?
I didn't know she was okay. I apologize.
I'm so conflicted on the whole thing. I did watch. So this year, NCAA athletes can monetize themselves, right? And it's not just, everyone's like, oh, it's just going to be like the quarterback from Alabama. It's not. I saw this volleyball player from Nebraska or something, like a super tall, beautiful 20-year-old volleyball player. Huge accounts.
Okay.
Money.
Didn't see that was coming after accounts.
Pouring in. These guys they're branding, and they're, at some point you're like, this is awful, but you're like,
no, you know what?
Millions of dollars.
My 11-year-old, she's a really talented dancer. She really
Super
is.
talented, by the way. She.
Yeah, I mean,
I saw her talent show. I was like, oh my god.
She's only been dancing 2 years. She was a gymnast before, and she kind of migrated over. I went. Short story. Parental lesson here. I went to Australia to work for a month. I came back. She had not been to her gymnastics program where she was competing, at a level that was high for a 7 or 8-year-old. In the entire time I was gone. And I'm like, why? I don't understand. And her father was like, she just didn't want to go. And I drive her there. I'm like calling the coaches, like, hey, we need to have like a little meet and greet and see what's going on. She literally wouldn't get out of the car. So this girl was done. Like done with gymnastics. So I ended up signing her up for dance at where my other daughter was taking a recreational dance class. And she went and did the dance class and they were like, how long has she been dancing? I'm like, she's literally never danced. And 2 years later, we're in this.
Dropped her off.
Yeah, 2:30 exactly. So now we're in this crazy program. Anyway, point is with her Instagram, she has brands, texting her like, "Hey, would you like to be a ambassador?" And she's 11,
Wow.
and only
that's how it's working though.
Yeah,
and she is, by the way. She's gifted as a dancer. She's super flexible. Like she can bend straight over backwards and stuff. You're traveling now, right? You're all over I see you all over the country doing like the travel dance routines and stuff.
With dance and with soccer.
I don't know
it's
how
both.
You're doing it.
It's both.
I see your posts and I'm like,
I have 3 kids that are like, I'm like, can't you just be normal? Can't you guys just simmer it down a little bit? Like just chill. I have my oldest who is, the reason I had 3 more children because she's amazing. She has her own thing going on. She has her own like pet business. She runs out of our house. She's got like several $1,000s in the bank. We may have like 8 dogs at our house at any one time because she like charges $25 to board a dog instead of a kennel, which is going to charge like 50 or 75.
Right.
And she gives them like all this special treatment. Anyway, she's got her own
What's
thing
your
going
cut?
on.
Hello. What's your cut of that?
I know. My cut is like, hopefully you remember all this when you graduate from college and
That's amazing.
you can learn, have a nice business, create a business. But the 2 boys are with soccer and River with dance. We travel all over the country. Like we're, with River, we were in Texas, we were in Vegas, we were in Arizona twice. With Hart, we were in Vegas, we were in Orlando for 10 days. So it's crazy. It gets crazier as they get older. It does.
I mean, it feels expensive too, right?
No, because with the boys, I'm like, you guys want him? Then you cover the cost, because he's.
So wait, the soccer club covers the cost.
The soccer, okay. I don't want to say because we're obviously out there with clubs,
Sure.
For futsal and soccer. Futsal is the indoor soccer. So that's where they like play on a court. Super exciting. Very, very exciting.
I actually love that. It's like a big tennis ball kind of thing.
And it's 2 20-minute halves. And it's like, it's a size 3 ball. So it's
you
really
kick
small.
it off the wall and then it's almost like volleyball.
No hands at all. So when it's kicked, there's a 4-second rule when they have to kick it in. So, I mean, his team was runner up in the national and worlds in Orlando. We were there for 10 days playing. But point is, with soccer, I'm like, if you really want him, then, you got to cover some of the costs. With dance, no. They're like, F you. The more talented your daughter is, the more you're going to pay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the opposite there.
Yeah. They're like, she's going to need.
It's not cheer, it's dance.
Yeah, it's dance.
But it's a dance unit. Because I saw this whole thing about cheerleaders too on like Inside Sports or something where there's one governing body that rules it or something.
I can tell you, but I was in the #1 cheerleading movie in the
That's right.
entire world.
Bring it on.
I do seem to remember that. Yeah,
absolutely right.
Now I can only say from an actor's perspective.
It was just on the other day, and I'm not gonna lie. I watched some of it. I was like, "Hey, Claire!"
It's so fun. It's
great.
So fun.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. What is it? I forget. It's like the NCA or oh my gosh, my peoples would be so.
I forget what it's called, but they rule with an iron fist. And it is, Now the NCAA is kind of over because it's all out now. Guys are transferring; they don't care anymore. People are making money, but the cheerleading still has an iron grasp on that sport, and it's pretty crazy.
If you have watched I think it's the Netflix series Cheer, which follows the cheer team.
Yes, and a coach that looks like Kristen Wiig.
And I love her.
Why does she look so much like Kristen Wiig, though? I'm like,
maybe
this lady's
her.
not funny.
Maybe Kate. Maybe it is. You don't know. I don't know. We don't have proof.
You're right. You know what? You're right.
It wouldn't surprise me, honestly. Kristen
I'm
Wiig
still thinking
like
Jason and Jamie are holograms, like based on you guys just meeting. I'm like, I don't know about either of you. I don't know. I haven't met you, Jason.
That's true. I am a hologram, actually. I was made by Pixar.
is funny.
Oh.
and well made.
So when you
Voiced by
did,
Alan
when you
Tudyk.
did that movie, were you like? I mean, were you like going to cheer competitions? Like, I mean, that was crazy. It was crazy. Had you done cheerleader before you did the movie?
I was a cheerleader for my 8th grade year in junior high. And then it really wasn't for me. It was not my thing. I grew up in Ohio. You know what I mean? Like, it was not anything like the movie. When I tried out for the movie, I did perform a cheer, and I performed like some gymnastics in the split with Joseph Middleton in the Universal like audition room.
Oh my God.
And it took me 8 auditions to get that part. It was not easy. It wasn't just like one, two.
They don't make it
no.
easy. They don't make it easy.
It was not easy. And then what they did is they shipped us all down to San Diego about 6 weeks before we started shooting. And we had cheer camp with the cheerleaders because the Toros and the Clovers were each, the Toros, I think there were 8 actors and then like 12 professional cheerleaders, and the Clovers.
So they did have actual cheerleaders.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. And we had to learn the stuff, and they started firing people if you weren't able to like keep up with the choreography and keep up with like.
Oh my God,
was
that's like the
replace,
DePaul Theater
replace,
School.
replace. It was like Sophie's Choice,
You
like
okay,
every
Kate?
day with the director. Like, you go or you go, and
Oh my
it's like,
God.
finally I got through enough that I knew I would be staying, but it was very, it was a very intense like pressure situation. And then the rest of the movie was just the best time in my entire life I've ever had. It was so
Do your
fun.
daughters, actually do all of your kids, I don't know why I said daughters, do they love watching that movie?
They haven't seen that one as much. They tend to really like my Lifetime movies.
Oh my God. Can I tell you, if I ever had something I could show my kids, that would be the only reason I would have had kids. Like, then I have a captive audience. I'm like, look what I did. Sit down and watch
it. Watch mommy. Yeah.
That's crazy. That movie's so fun too.
It's really fun. Yeah.
Super funny.
Man.
Kate, do you have? I have a couple of things that I had a couple movies where they're terrible films, but they are.
That's all I've done.
Like super dark, and I'm just like, even I shot something this summer. I was like, the guy's like, "You sure you want to?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't care. I'm playing a character, but I played like this creepy dude, and it was super fun." But every day as I was shooting, I was like, "Oh, my kids are gonna see this one day. What is happening?"
You didn't show the girls Aftermath?
Yeah, no, where I clean up murder scenes. No, I didn't show them. I didn't show
Oh my God. I want to see that movie. I love murder.
It's really good. It's Sean
favorite.
Ashmore and Ashley Greene, and and they are. But I'm like, I'm the comic relief. But all we do is clean up horrific murder scenes. Like the walls are sprayed with blood, and I'm eating food, cleaning it up.
Oh, that's really funny.
I've yet to get around to showing my kids the movie Gamer that I was in, which my only line is "What the fuck just happened?" So probably soon. I mean, but what, like 8? You think? Probably.
I would make that into is it a GIF or a GIF? Just make that one line into it.
Right?
Is it GIF or GIF? I don't.
You know what? I'm not even gonna pretend like I know.
I prefer GIF.
Just me asking that question shows how old I am.
Peanut butter. So I prefer GIF. Like,
Yep.
give it its own thing. Don't piggyback on someone else's branding.
So my daughter Claire lost her first tooth yesterday.
Oh, congratulations.
What grade is she in?
She is in first grade.
Oh wait, our kids are the same age.
Yeah, she's in
That's
first grade.
wild.
She
Okay.
is 6. And
6.
and
Okay.
8. But we're late bloomers. I guess they take after me. I was the same. I didn't even really shave till college, and now I'm a furry monkey. So she just lost her first tooth. All of her friends have all their adult teeth, and she just lost her first one yesterday. But we had set. The problem was Hannah lost her first tooth. Was it right during the pandemic? There was a reason we didn't have any dollars or 5s or 10s. All we had was a 20. All we had in the house. I think it was during right at the beginning of the pandemic. All we had
Tooth Fairy making it rain.
All we had was a $20 bill. So we had to give her we had to give her a $20 bill. And so we gave her a $20 bill. And of course, Claire loses her first tooth, and she's like, "Here it comes." Like she knew.
She remembered.
Oh, they all know. They talked about it.
She was like, "Let me consult my journal." Yep, April 2020. Hannah received $20 from the Tooth Fairy for
We'd
losing.
be out
And Hannah would tell the story, like, other people would see Hannah's tooth missing and they go, oh, and she goes, I got $20. And the parents would go, they'd like, oh my gosh, that's so good. But then they would look directly at us and go, the fuck are you guys?
What's wrong with you?
And I was like, and I'd have to go, it was a pandemic. We only had a $20 bill. It was either that or a Krugerrand. We didn't have anything else in the house. I didn't know what to give her. So we had to give her 20 yesterday.
So,
It's
but
just
my
the first
question
bit.
is, did you remember to do it?
Oof.
It's honestly, I do most of the things, but that's the one of the things my wife does. And she wrote.
I'm like basically
Oh,
Kate does it.
0 for 4 kids, all teeth lost on doing it on time. Like always always going to bed late, always like, please get in bed, please. I'm begging you. I'm reading like the bunny book to make them fall asleep, everything. So finally everyone's asleep. It's like 10:20. I go out, I sit down. I'm like, I'll definitely do that tooth thing in like a minute. Wake up. The next morning, the tooth fairy forgot to come. And I'm like, well, I'm sure if you go in and watch a few minutes of YouTube, I'll see if I can contact them. And then I have to slide some money in there.
I had a similar situation, and I told them I took the heat for it. I'm like, oh my God, I locked the windows. She couldn't get in. I'm so sorry. I'll send an email to their headquarters. She'll probably stop by tonight. And next day.
I gotta
See,
tell
that
you,
works. That
yeah,
works when
that-
it's on your oldest. But now my oldest are like, Mom, you fell asleep. Mom, you just didn't do it. Mom, stop lying. Stop lying. And I'm like, what? Who are you?
So Hannah, she had a
should we do code names, Jamie? Would that
We
be
might.
easier?
she's such a sneaky little shit.
Okay, so little shit. Well, that's her code name, little shit. Okay.
She took her iPad,
Mm-hmm.
propped it up, and set and played to record video
You lie through your teeth.
from last night. And so I go down and I saw it propped up like she was going to film the tooth fairy showing up with the money. And I was like, and I just took it and put it face down. And so she
Oh.
video.
Oh my gosh.
So she lost another tooth recently or whatever. And she came up, she's like, I lost a tooth or whatever. And we're like, oh, tooth fairy, you got to write the message. You got to, we make them write the letter to the tooth fairy and put it in. Took her
there's
4
letters.
days.
That's
Took her
nice. I
4
didn't-
days. She had the tooth. Every day we'd be like, but you don't want the money? She's like, no, I'll get to it. And then
She's like, I'm still living
Mom,
on
she's
that
like, I'm
20.
doing on my time. My time, Jamie.
it was like when you have that check and you're like, no, I go to the bank tomorrow. And then you're like, whatever. I don't care. So she's already like, whatever.
Oh my God.
Crazy,
She was
right?
still living off the 20. Don't worry. She wasn't worried about getting a
She's
dollar.
still,
You guys have them write letters? They're supposed to. I didn't know that was a thing. I thought.
You have to invoice your tooth fairy?
Yeah, that's wild.
oh, dude, I demanded W-9. I did all of it. The whole
Whole
thing.
thing.
It's all
Hold on.
text. It's all text.
Well, at $20 a tooth, I
Oh
imagine.
my God. Honestly,
Well, trust me, I write the whole thing off. It's all part of the corporation expenses.
I can't believe you did W-9 instead of W-2 because you've got a busy couple years. She should be salaried, honestly.
Well, she's already incorporated, so she's a loan out.
Oh,
From her
okay,
own
great.
corporation.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Poo
Great.
Poo Pants Productions is what she does. Yeah. It's so funny. So last night, we tried to make it. Claire, both you guys know this, is that the first one comes along and everything is so special. Everything is like, oh my God,
Yeah.
first. And then by the time the second comes around, I have 1/10 the amount of photos of the second one as the first one.
Yeah.
So we've been really trying to make a concerted effort to make her milestones in life as big or whatever. So last night my wife was like, we want to make a big deal about it. So she wanted to take the kids to CPK. Hannah, the older one, has such an issue where she resents anytime the other one gets any special, like it's like on the other one's birthday, she's pissy the whole day. It's like not her day, even though you're getting to go to a free party. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
So at one point she goes, we go, hey, we're going to CPK, which she asks almost every day if she can go to. And she goes, I don't want to go. So I didn't let her go.
Oh, I love you.
Well played.
Stuck to my guns. And so
I love you, Jamie.
it
Well played.
went evil. monster screaming.
Yes.
I go, fine. You don't want to go? I'll stay home with you. I mean, it was great because I got to stay home too. I didn't really want to go.
Right.
So Kate
That's the
took
bonus.
Kate took her for a really special night and sent photos. And I go, Claire's having a hot fudge sundae. How do you feel about that now? She like melted. I had to drag her in from the front yard and then lock the door. She was like hitting me, smashing me. But then here's what happened. After she kind of realized she had lost out, she was so sweet the rest of the night. She for the first time ever, she like cleared her plates off the table. She knew I was like,
You know, when the dad lays down the law like that, it's different than the mom laying down the law, because the mom it's just a different relationship, as you know, and we're talking about a girl also, you know, and when the dad lays down the law and is just like, no, and that is it's a definitive no, and it's not going anywhere. They learn that boundary. You know what I mean? So you taught a really important boundary last night.
I felt so good. I felt so proud about it last night.
That's like your one for the year, so you're good.
It was a good one.
Truly.
Today was a much better day. Yeah, she was so good at. And also, when they're together, they fight, but then you separate them, and it's like super cool. And then she went into her bedroom and just read.
Oh,
put her to bed at like 7.
They went full Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah. I gave her a little wooden train that I carved out of wood. It was fantastic.
Keep the fire going. Keep the fire going, Hannah.
So recently, my wife, I was out of town. And so I was at the show in New England or whatever, and Hannah had an absolute meltdown or whatever. So Kate said, we're shipping, and I was on the phone. She's like, I told Hannah we're shipping her off to a boarding school. And I said, you've got to say it with much more conviction. Even I don't believe you. And she was like, and so she listened to the room, and Claire was sobbing like, Hannah's going to go to boarding school. And Hannah was like, she's full of shit. She basically said, she didn't say full of shit, but she goes, she's not, trust me, I'm not going anywhere. She totally knew it. And we had this huge conversation about like, hey, listen, you can't make false threats. You have to make legitimate threats and then pull the trigger. You have got to, or they do not respect you.
If you're at a party that you're not willing to leave, you cannot say to your kid, if you don't stop doing that, we're going to leave this party.
Yes.
Couldn't agree more. I honestly and sometimes I'll deliberately, if I know I want to leave the party, I'll wait till they misbehave just to scoot, and I go, that's it. We're out of here. And I'll drag him out, even though I was leaving anyway. I'll use it specifically.
You guys are all very strong and able-bodied parents. I'm like, hey, listen, I'm the one who's like, no, I said no. I said, all right, fine, just go in your room. No, I said no. Don't ask me again. I said no. All right, fine, just eat it, but don't tell anyone. Like, that's me. Like, I don't.
That's Kate.
I
That's
have
my
my
wife.
limits.
My wife's so
you
similar.
know?
But you hold fast on electronics, so in some ways,
Yeah,
that's like like a systemic thing. You know what I mean? But the micro things, I'm very easily persuaded with.
I got to tell you, if you asked right now, I came up with a phrase that I taught both my boys pretty early on. If you ask my 3-year-old now, it's pretty sad to watch, but I'll be like, Mama keeps her, he goes, promises and threats.
Wow.
They got to know, I'll keep my promise. If I promise you I'm going to do this, we will do that. Even if we don't do it at the day I say we're going to do it. But Mama also going to keep her threats.
Are you the law in the house, Kate?
Yes. Yeah. No question.
Are you really? I'm the law, I think, for the most part.
I'm the one that's mostly home too. I mean, that's part of it.
I am too. I'm the one who's mostly home. My wife.
Yeah. So I have less. I think what it's called is less fucking patience. So that's why. Yeah. But no, I mean like sometimes I have to go in and I'm like, hey, all 3 of you, stop doing that. Like, what are we doing here? And the third being my husband.
You have to follow through. It's so funny because we all know it, and yet sometimes you're just like, all right, dude, I can't. It's like when it would take me 5 minutes to clean the house. It takes me 2 hours to make them clean the house, and I'll fight through it, even though I'm like just.
But it's like following through on anything else. Do we all do the work in the moment it needs to be done for our own work? No. We
No.
procrastinate. We do
Yes.
what's easier. Like we
Yes.
do what's like, convenient. Oh, I absolutely have to finish this Sudoku before I send that very important email about a job that could be life
You're
changing.
doing Sudokus. Sudoku.
Sudoku. I love
Is
Sudoku.
it GIF
Ahsoka.
or GIF or
Ahsoka.
Sudoku or Sudoku?
It's Ahsoka. Ahsoka Tano is what it's called. Ahsoka Tano. Jason, don't question me.
I love crosswords also, FYI, and word finds.
I went through my
All of them.
phase of crosswords, and now I probably couldn't get through a Monday edition, let alone the Sunday.
You did the times?
I
Like
tried to.
horoscopes?
Back in the day when I was like in my
Back in the
30s, I
day?
was like reading
Where
of,
Monday was like
Mice and Men
easy, and then you got to Friday and you're like, it's hard. I need help.
Yeah.
Then Saturday was like the giant one. No, Saturday was the normal. Sunday was the giant one.
I did break out Scrabble though lately, so started playing Scrabble with the kids, just to put words together on the board.
That's good.
And I thought it was super, yeah. And actually, they kind of dug it. We didn't really do the points thing. We just were like, what can you make out of this word? I think there's another one like a cube where you can read the words or something. But
Boggle
Okay.
or something, right?
Definitely. If you have like the Scrabble version on the TV, whatever, like it's one of the apps that you can download, the Scrabble app. It's really fun to play on the smart TV. But I've taught my
Oh.
kids also Risk and Settlers of Catan,
Oh, that's
And-
amazing.
poker,
Yes.
especially the poker game In Between, which is a super fun, like very fast moving poker game. So I highly recommend all strategic games for kids starting at the youngest age possible.
we used to, when I was a kid, my mother taught me bridge when I was
Yes.
like I want to say like 11 years old, because they
That's
needed
pretty
a floor.
complicated, isn't it?
I couldn't
They
hold the
needed a
cards in
board.
my hand, so they
No.
would set up a board on the table.
I have card holders for the kids where you put
I had
all the
to
cards
because
in.
I learned
Yeah.
bridge.
That
Yeah.
is so sweet.
Did you teach your kids to play bridge, Claire?
They know how to play. They know how to gamble. I haven't taught them bridge specifically, but they know poker. They know In Between. They know Kings on the Corners. They know obviously the kids games like Uno or War or stuff like that. But the strategy games are so important, I think, because it's just as important to develop that skill as reading or math or anything else. Like
Like,
strategy,
which
you
strategy
use way
works? You
more
mean
in
like
life.
Risk or
Risk
what's a
is
good-
like phenomenal. Settlers of Catan has a kids version. I started my kids on that, and within 2 weeks we were up to the adult version.
Oh,
Didn't
wow.
I'm
matter.
sure I want to teach my children a skill set that will eventually be used against me.
I was going to say also, Jason, what you really need to be teaching your twins at least is the game called Hide the Body, Don't Get Caught.
Oh, I think they already know. Because
I
we have a
know, that's
neighbor
what's
that
scary about
we haven't
those two.
seen for a little while. There's something wrong with both of them. I don't know.
That's fun.
Jason swears that they're sociopaths.
The new season of Dexter is coming out. My
Yeah,
podcast
there you
host
go.
is on it. Watch Dexter.
By the way,
I don't want
Claire,
them learning that stuff.
tell people your podcast that you're doing. I love that whole podcast that you're doing.
Oh my gosh, Jamie, you have to come on. It's really fun. It's produced by Roddenberry Entertainment. It's called Fanatics, and it drops every Thursday on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And it is basically like, for example, from the new Dexter, we just had Michael C. Hall on, and he doesn't talk about his career. He doesn't talk about acting. He doesn't talk about his life or anything like that. He talks about something he's fanatical about, which for him, he's fanatical about Chip Gaines. He loves Chip Gaines from Fixer Upper. And
Oh my
so,
God, that's so
his
funny.
whole episode is about his love for Chip Gaines. Tony Hale, great comedian, super funny guy, came on, talked about his love of indoor malls. He loves going to an indoor
Oh.
mall. So this is what the show's about.
That's
It's not,
awesome.
yeah,
Please
it's
share
not
that,
anything
Rob.
you would expect to hear from the people that are on, but it's great.
How
I
many
think
people?
that's awesome because
Yeah.
it's like you Google them and I've done interviews and it's like I've said so many things about blah blah blah. I think that's fantastic because then you start to get into the minutia of what we all think.
Yes, and it usually goes back to some childhood experience that spurred their love of whatever it is. With Tony Hale, it was like always being dropped off at the mall as a kid and like smelling the Cinnabon and like having like the atrium open above him. And So it's just like, it's a really fun, like bite-sized podcast. They're like, the interview is usually 25 minutes. We do a little intro, outro, so 40 minutes total. It's very
Well, let's flip it,
easy.
Claire. Claire, what are you a fanatic about?
Oh my gosh, that's my problem, Jamie. Pretty much everything.
Well, if you had to boil it down to something that was kind of off kilter, where people wouldn't understand that you love something
I
special.
love so many things. So, the original thing when I talked to the producers was I have a big cloisonne collection. I love cloisonne. It's a type of like vase, or it can actually be. It's a type of like, not sort of like artwork with enamel and metal, where you can make candlesticks or little vases or little trivets or anything, but it's like where you do the metal work and then you pour an enamel in and it sort of sets.
Whoa.
So I've like always loved going to flea markets and finding this stuff. So
And anyone who's watching, have you ever heard of cloisonne? I've never heard that word before.
No.
Okay, I
Sounds
bet your
expensive,
grandma
so
has
last
some.
5 minutes in this house.
I thought that was where nuns lived.
Cloisonne can't break. It's not going to break when it falls off. 'Cause
Cloister.
It's not.
That's what it's
Really?
It's not porcelain. It's not glass. It's enamel that has been melted to a high temperature, poured, and then set. So it won't crack if it falls.
Oh, so I need these in my life.
That's why there's cloisonne from centuries.
Probably never heard. All right, that's pretty cool. So, do you have a collection at the house that you?
I do. Yes, but
is it behind a little thing where you open it? There's a Hummel and then some cloisonne.
No, I've been forced to put it away, because of the pandemic and evolving, all the stuff. So I'm gonna get it out soon, and I will take a picture of it. Yes, Sean knows. He's heard about it on. I think I talked about it on the pre-episode.
You're
of
really
Fanatics.
pumping out the cloisonne. We're gonna start. Honestly, somebody should get cloisonne.com because I feel like that's about to blow up.
It is. It's like huge, man.
Jason,
Crazy.
if you were on the podcast of Fanatics, what would you do? What would you say is your secret love?
Oh, I don't think my love's terribly secret. I am a Marvel obsessed.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So lean to the side so they can see your chair.
Yes, there it is.
My twins are named after Iron Man and Wolverine.
Wow, your
That's
kids
true.
are named Iron Man and Wolverine. That's so cool.
Well,
He's not Iron Man and Wolverine. It's
she knows.
so
She's
cool.
just.
I know.
she's
it's
just
Logan
making
and
it up.
Anthony.
I know.
That is really cute.
Joking.
Okay, so how do you feel about the whole like the Netflix like Daredevil and Luke Cage and that whole Jessica Jones spinoffs into the MCU, which like diverged into the darker side?
Well, I mean, obviously they're going to lighten them when they bring them over, but I think you're going to see Daredevil in that new Spider-Man movie.
What do you think of Tom Holland as Spider-Man?
He is the best of both Parker and Spider-Man.
I think he's phenomenal. I love him so much. And I interviewed Stan Lee when he was alive, and he was like, Tom Holland was, the perfect choice.
See, and if it comes from Stan Lee, isn't it?
It's like the same thing with Robert Downey Jr. He's like, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. He's only said that about two characters, in the
Whoa,
MCU.
you named one of your twins Robert Downey Jr.? That is so cool, Jason.
I hate everything you choose to be.
All right, Kate, what would your Fanatics episode be?
I think right now it would be Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Oh.
I'm just
She's a game. She's a Nintendo gamer.
We can do that.
Yeah, I've got to tell you, I love and during the pandemic it would have been Animal Crossing. I mean, at some point one of my friends could sign on and he's like, "Do you know you've spent 900 hours?" And I was like, "No, they round up. I don't know what that is." Like it's just we got a Nintendo. I've never had video games before, and now I am hooked.
So you didn't have video games as a kid?
No. But this is exactly what you were just saying, Claire, is that there's something usually that was like, this was the thing I was deprived of. So it's like, also the other thing I could talk about is candy. That's like the other thing. Like I am like a candy connoisseur. And it's because that's another thing we don't get candy when we're kids. So
Wait, why don't you get? Am I bad? I give my kids
every day.
I actually went to the candy store today on Tahunga.
What's better?
What's better than candy?
Yeah, nothing.
Oh, dude, when I was a kid,
Well, a
it was
couple
like
things.
we'd freeze Charleston
Couple things,
chews.
Kate. Why don't you simmer down over there with your candy?
Okay.
At the hierarchy.
So
I'll
you
talk to
say,
after the
so how
show.
do you spell SEX? Okay, interesting. I'm gonna look into that. I'm not sure how.
Yeah,
I feel
check
about
that one out. A couple
Okay.
other things I've got for you.
Okay, cloisonne. Okay, cloisonne. No, it was another thing I didn't have. Like, my mom would be like, "You can have a cookie for dessert," and I'd be like, "Huh?"
No, I'm the same way. I grew up, we didn't have sugar cereal. If we had a honey nut Cheerio, that was like, ooh, that was like super special.
What?
We had
Yes.
my food
In
was
Ohio?
like, my food was super controlled.
Yes.
What else
growing
did you
up.
have in
Was it
Ohio?
super healthy? How was
I'm
it
from
super healthy
Illinois,
in
Claire. I
Ohio?
had the same upbringing.
Yeah,
Where
same
was
thing.
your
Like,
joy?
there, I
Cloisonne, baby.
right. So with my kids now, I do allow, sweets. I'm kind of with you, Jamie. Like I will buy the Lucky Charms. I will buy the, stuff. Not every week, but once every couple weeks. Like,
Sure.
okay, that comes in. But I'll tell you what, I had a gallon. Sky had a play date. My youngest, who's 7, he had a play date yesterday. And when I picked him up, the mom, who is a mom of a single kid, said, "Oh my gosh, I did an order on Amazon Prime and I got 2 gallons of this apple juice. And oh, you need to take it. I only paid for 1, so take 1 home." I'm like, "Okay, great, I'll take it." So I put it in my car. I never, ever, ever buy juice for the kids. They have it at parties, fine. They whatever.
Oh, I'm
So
different.
the gallon, what actually I think it was a gallon and a half. I'll show you a picture in a minute. This morning it was like, here, my 9-year-old massively threw up about 10 p.m. last night, and it was like it was like the Stand By Me vomiting, like raw. And when I
Sorry,
saw
I'm
that
laughing.
jug this morning, I was like, he ate that Chipotle burrito I got him, and he
Oh.
drank that like almost a gallon of apple juice, and that's why he threw
Hi,
up.
Shuggy. Oh my God.
Suge
Suge
Knight's
Knight's
here.
Good
I
night.
thought Suge Knight didn't Suge Knight go to jail? I feel like Suge Knight went
I'm
to jail.
telling you, he's coming from jail. He's coming at us from jail.
Maybe I
You
think
got pretty
we're
good Wi-Fi in
getting
there.
in the prison
He got great
system.
one. He had some people smuggle him stuff in.
For the candy thing, here's the other thing is I know some kids who never touched candy in their life or went to McDonald's or anything, and they were eating like, a rice bowl or something their whole childhood. And as soon as they got out of, as soon as they found the vending machines at high school, they were off the charts. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is. I mean, I eat pretty healthy. Like even this morning for the kids, I made like oatmeal and, cut up fruit in it every day.
Yeah.
With oranges and stuff. But they had a couple Chips Ahoy in their lunch. I try to minimize it, but there's definitely some Oreos are going out, some Fig Newtons. I don't know. Because the other problem is, it's like, how many celery sticks and carrot sticks can they eat? Eventually, there's like 50 snacks. It's nothing.
Yes.
It's Pirate's Booty, graham crackers. It's like dried apricots. So I try to mix and match it. But we stopped at the candy store. There's like this crazy candy store right near me, and they go in their heads like.
Which one? Which on Tahunga you said?
Yeah, it's a little super secret when we walk in, and it's like all British, and it's from around the world. Total coffee.
Oh, British candy is also the best.
Hannah got the candy. It's a candy spray.
Oh,
yeah.
I haven't seen those in years.
Candy spray, and I opened it, and she would spray it in my mouth. I was like, "Dang." It was like the most sour. And she's like, "It's awesome." And I go, "It's horrific. That's absolutely
I'm gonna die now. Thanks.
I love desserts, but I won't eat. When I was a kid, like, God, milk with like spoonfuls of Nestle Quick, stirring it up, and like, so we ate a lot of candy, I think. But I also grew up in a house where like 4 sisters smoked cigarettes, and they were drinking Schlitz all day. So I'm not sure if the candy was the biggest problem in the household.
Right. That was like it wasn't even on the charts.
I don't know if you remember the days when like you'd walk into people's houses and it was just ashtrays were full. Is that just only?
I remember when you walked on planes and ashtrays were.
Okay, that one.
I think Europe. My friends were like, I was going after college.
I'm about to be 40.
I went to Greece. And I was going to backpack around Greece with some, friends. And they were like, here's the secret. Get the row above the smoking section. So if you want to smoke, you can just walk back a bit, but you're in the clean air side. I was like, oh my God, you're genius. Can you imagine, guys, getting on a plane now with smoke?
No. I can't imagine. I mean, I forgot like when bars let it happen.
So when I first bartended, my first bartending job, I would get like 2 or 3 sinus infections a year because people they'd be talking to their friend like this, and the bartender would be the camera here, and they'd be like, oh yeah, that's totally cool. Anyway, I was gonna say to Karen, I was like, and I'm like, dude, you're killing it. Oh, sorry about that, man. I was just, and people when they're drinking are like literally lighting one cigarette from the other cigarette, putting that one. It's
Yes, this is probably true.
Dude, I remember moving from New York after I graduated at NYU to California, and I had a job here, and I was like, what do you mean people don't smoke in the bars? Like, I don't understand. Like, what do they do? Go outside?
I don't know if you remember, I was bartending then, and it was almost as bad as like the red versus blue now. Like people were up in arms, and there was like a secret underground speakeasy system of bars of like, you can smoke at this bar. Like there were places you could go and people hung. And now if you walk into a bar and somebody lights up a cigarette, your head would be like, what?
Whoa. Yeah. Now I'm like, I honestly don't understand. Like, and my kids, they're like, they don't even know the name really for cigarette. They're like, it's one of the smoking things,
Oh, isn't that something?
And I think that's really good, and God bless if you do smoke. I understand. I smoked for like 10 years, when I was younger, and it was very hard to quit, but yikes, give it a shot. Quit.
My father chain smoked his whole life, and he it didn't end well. That's pretty much how.
Well, that's the same with my grandmother, my grandfather, my dad.
Grandmother.
Yeah.
But my father was in World War II, and when he showed up and they gave him like, here's your canteen, here's your gun, and here's your 2 packs of Lucky Strikes, and he's like, oh great, this will come in handy. That's
also, you know what? After you fought in World War II, you get to do anything you want, whatever, anything you want.
You get a pass.
Honestly.
Oh yeah, Suge Knight says, remember going to get cigarettes for your parents or grandparents? I remember definitely doing that. And I remember lighting them for my grandma, being like, go ahead and light that. I'd be like, okay.
Yeah.
7, 8 years old.
I mean, that cigarettes are gone, but now there's all kinds of at least cigarettes weren't going to kill you that night. Like nowadays.
Oh yeah,
it's scary.
They had issues with people doing like drugs they think are okay, but it's laced with other stuff, and all of a sudden, you got these problems to worry about. So I'm not sure parenting is getting easier because of the smoking. Because now, I mean, as your kids grow up, I mean, it's terrifying that they go out and they go to a party and they think, oh, just I'll do a line or two, and you're like, okay, thanks for coming.
No, there was just at one of these universities in late August, early September, a kid who was rushing in a frat, was forced to drink like a thing of whiskey and died.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, man. Like, let's get past that. I think that's where the parents have fallen short, and I hold myself accountable as well for having an almost 14-year-old and an almost 12-year-old and what, who are going to go to college sooner than later, is like, you have to like start that messaging about, no, you can't. You can enjoy alcohol a little bit, but not a lot. You can enjoy things a little bit, but not a lot. I don't know. I don't think it's ever too early.
I even tonight, like I poured my kids a couple glasses of wine. They're in sipping wine, and I just want to
get their tolerance up.
6 and 8, but let's start getting used to it. Like France, where it's like
normalize.
Listen, I'm not going. It's not a cab. I'm not going heavy red. It's light. It's like a Syrah,
rosé, like a dessert wine,
like a rosé dessert wine-ish, but nothing too heavy. And no hard liquor for another year or 2. But then, try to get them involved in it.
My husband Dickie's
shuffle while they're drinking.
My husband Dickie's grandmother actually used to give him what was called red milk when they would go stay there. And red milk was just milk that she poured some red wine into, and they slept like angels. And like then the mom, like his mother would come and be like, why are they're really out? And mom would be like, red milk. And she got so mad at her, at the grandmother.
Buy red milk.
Yeah, good.
It's called Benadryl nowadays.
We got to buy redmilk.com. That's got to be bought as well.
with what was it called?
Cloisonne.
Cloisonne.
Although I now that I see that written out, I was like, oh, it's Cloisonne. Like, I don't know how I would say that. I love that it's Cloisonne.
Super funny.
Really didn't see that coming.
I mean, honestly, I kind of loved having the moms, Jason. Wasn't it great?
It was fantastic.
Because
there are resident moms. Like,
I loved having Kate. Like, she's amazing. Her hair looks really good.
By the way,
like,
Kate, your hair does look superb
it looks
tonight.
so good.
You
What are you
guys,
doing?
Thank you for noticing the
And your nails.
25
Your nails too look
Claire,
really
let
good.
me tell you about something called press-on nails because this bitch a cheapo. And these are some
they
pressies.
look really. I like you have what's called like the coffin file right
Yes,
now. My daughter taught me that. It's the coffin.
The coffin, yeah. These are called kiss and press nails, and if you have $8.99, you too could go to a Walgreens and buy some.
I need to grab some.
But that being said, thank you guys for noticing my hair. I hadn't washed my hair since Friday night, I'm realizing. And boy, did I decide I really needed to wash it for you guys. So I just washed it. Friday. Well, thank
really
you.
good.
Thank you. This was listen, you guys, is there anything else you want to tell me about me tonight?
Told you I liked your duvet.
Oh, my duvet.
I may have been on mute for that though, so I'm gonna.
I mean, honestly, I could talk all night. This is super fun, but I don't know. I hate beating up my guests by keeping them on forever. Did you guys have crazy stuff with your kids this week? I mean, it's kind of a weekly check-in of. I kind of covered everything I had. I mean, I was out of town. It was superb.
Yeah, Gates figured out he missed you while you were here. He was so sad.
Oh.
He left to his grandparents before he got to meet Jamie while Jamie was here. And he thinks Jamie's just the greatest thing in the entire world. And he was so sad he missed him.
Can he tell that to my wife? Please, can he share that information with my wife? It's so funny. Everyone's like, it was 3-hour drive to Buffalo. Then I flew from Buffalo to Denver, had like a 2-hour layover, and then flew from Denver to Burbank. And everyone's like, oh my God, that must have been a horrible day flying. And I was like, no, not really. It was pretty great, actually.
Dream come true. Let's elongate this trip, shall we?
I sat in the airport. I watched the Ryder Cup, some football. I had a drink, got on a flight, landed in Denver, had a drink, watched some more football, got on a plane. It was a pretty good day. It was actually
not bad.
Flying before kids, I was a wreck on planes. I was super nervous. I would get angsty about trying to get the right seat, and everything was cool. And now I'm like, if I fly without kids, I'm like, it's like a vacation. It's like a spa. It's the best.
I remember, okay, no lie. I was flying from LA to Heathrow. And Gavin was probably my oldest, was probably like,
I love that name.
3. And then River was probably 1. So 3 and 1. And I wasn't pregnant yet. So maybe they were a little younger. Can't remember. Anyway, I was flying with a group of people because we were doing a show over there. So we got on the plane, we got in. I literally, they were like, do you want us to wake you up for a massage? Do you want us to wake you up for, the manicure or whatever? And I'm like, no, just if I fall asleep, I fall asleep. Fell asleep, dead out, missed all the meals. 12 hours later, the stewardess is literally like, Miss Kramer, we're landing. And I was like, landing where? She's like, we're already here. I slept the entire time. I did not budge. I did not move. It was the best night of sleep I'd had since I had my first.
That sounds amazing.
And all my friends were like, what? You just literally got on the plane and went to sleep.
Did
we did this and we did this and we watched 8 movies and we also did this. And no.
Did you order some red milk just before?
I didn't need any.
I'll tell you what, Nanny will get you some. Jamie, one of my favorite bits of yours of all time is something like I still, to this day, I think about it all the time. And it's the plane. Do you remember the plane joke you used to do? It was like the sweetest. I will tell you the basic premise. You get on a plane.
Oh, I do.
It was
I can't
such
do
a
it
sweet.
anymore. I get canceled.
I don't think so because I remember it being such a sweet thing then.
It was. It's a super.
It's actually.
It's one of my favorite bits of all
and
time.
I don't think there's any who would try to cancel me.
It's just a real story. Actually, it kind of fits this whole thing because I used to be a nightmare on planes and airports. I'd get there, I would be like, was anybody else like that? Before kids, I don't know why I would be like,
wasn't. Sorry,
nervous about missing the
we're
flight or whatever. What's our Kate?
I said,
We've
no,
always
Claire and
been
I are both
cool.
like, no, we've actually.
I used to get such
we're
I was
kind
always
of
like,
chill as fuck, but no, it's cool.
I
It's
was
cool.
that
Your thing,
guy.
your thing.
I would be sitting there and be like, I just was a mess on the plane. I don't know why. There was no reason for it. And so I was on the plane. It's a kind of a long story, but it's a crazy. It just really happened where I was on the plane. They held the plane. And I was a mess. I just was waiting to take off, and they're like, "We're holding the plane. There's a group of people who are coming on." I can't tell it. It'll get me canceled. I can't tell it.
I will tell it and pretend like it's my story.
You tell it. I can't.
I will tell it. He basically the whole and this is there's no reason to cancel him for this. For me, don't cancel me for this, because this is my story, not Jamie Kaler's. But he said that like they held the plane, and then it was a group of Down syndrome people all came and sat on the plane, and Jamie was there. He's like, I had such a bad attitude. I was like, just like, I want to take off. I can't believe we're waiting. And then like basically they had never been on a plane before. And he said that like the plane took off and they all started cheering and
they raised their hands and like, look, we're flying.
And they go, we're flying. And then Jamie was like, yeah, we're flying. Like it got him out of.
I love that. I love that.
Actually, that was your cancel, man.
I had the greatest. Well, the punchline is, I wish I was re-blanked.
I don't remember that.
Oh yeah, that you just retool that a bit.
But here's the word. People are holding on to that word, and it's a word where the word means to slow down. And so for me, I took it to heart of like, and the truth is on that flight, I colored with the kid next to I ended up sitting next to the kid. They came down and they high-fived everybody on the plane. That was the other thing, they high-fived. And I high-fived the first guy, and the next guy is like, I'm not at work today. And I go, I don't know what job you could have, but sure. Yes. And at first I was angry. I was like, whatever, just sit down. And by the last guy, he's like,
no, you gotta be open. That's life, man. That's what makes life special. You know what I mean?
They changed your day. You said that. You were like, they totally changed the mood on the plane.
Yeah,
and like appreciate it. Like, why don't any of us ever stop to think we're flying?
Yeah. And he was like, they had such smiles on their face. They were so happy to be where they were at all times. And I was like, and it is true. When you meet someone who's touched by the hand of God, they have this innocence to them that I think, we look down, people look down on them. And I was like, that they're the chosen ones. These people are just gleefully walking through life where I wish I didn't know everything, but I do. And that's why the world weighs on me. And so, it's a long bit that I did about it. And honestly, it was funny because I would do that bit and then people would half the audience would light me up. And then people who were parents with kids with special needs would come up to me and go, that was the most beautiful bit I've ever heard. I loved it. I got to break that back. Actually, it's going into some other story stuff, but I need to retool it.
Yeah, that's like a whole, I feel like that's like a whole other exploratory episode. Yeah. Cause there's a lot of opinions and emotions around all that. And I love that. I love that you had that experience. That's life, man. That is what it's all about, is like those moments of joy between all the nightmares we experience, between all the it's about experiencing that joy in those moments. And
Totally
we're too busy. We're too busy being like, I can't believe I have to get to the airport 2 hours early. I can't believe I have to take my shoes off. I can't,
moment.
I don't have to take my shoes off. You got to get TSA pre-check.
Can I do that with
being an actor and being a comic and being on stage a lot has
your
really
kids can come through.
It's trained me to be in the moment. And I think that's, if I teach my kids one thing, it is, which we all struggle with it because we sit there and we go, like, a horrible tragedy happens, like 9/11. Everybody wishes it was like 9/12 again because everybody was hugging each other and so bonding. But that feeling goes away, and all of a sudden you're screaming at the dude at the 4-way stop who cuts you out. You're like, oh, I'll kill you because you can't. But the truth is, it's all comes with age. If you can just sit back and go, it's good, man. It's all cool. It makes life so much greater. And it's
Jamie and I almost got knifed after our show on Saturday.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Wait. Oh, I was being very. Okay, you said that very glibly. I didn't know. So truly, you actually almost got
really.
Oh, cool. So let me actually just give you a line reading on that, Jason, because the way you said it, it just felt sort of. So could you try it this way? Could you try? Actually, pretty scary.
Okay, guys, I'm just telling you all. I'm going to be right back. I have to just do one thing. I'll be right back.
Are you grabbing poison A?
Come back and then we'll say goodbye.
I want to grab poison A.
Go grab poison A.
Okay.
I need to know.
All right,
what
back
it
to
is.
my direction. I'm ready.
Okay,
Director.
so can you just say like it was like? Could you even do like maybe a little bit of this before like? Boy, it was yeah. I like it. Okay, and then give me the line.
So, Jamie and I almost got knifed after the show.
Oh my God, you got the part. You did that beautifully. Thank you. Now I know that. Wait. Okay. First of all, how did the show go? It looks like it was awesome.
So the show
sold out Saturday.
Sold out, and it was
Okay.
packed.
I didn't say brag about it. I said, how did it go?
Yeah. No, it was the greatest show that's ever happened. It was there was a heckler who we destroyed, and then apparently somebody overheard her in the bathroom on the phone calling her boyfriend, telling him to come kill us,
to come jack us up.
So did you encounter him or
no? Luckily, but I will tell you, when I left in the morning and I went to get my car behind the little bed and breakfast that I was staying at, I walked around corners like I was literally waiting for some guy to come out, go zip 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 zip, and start shivving me. I was like, I kind of did think about it the next morning. I was a little
easy for you. I can never go to Applebee's here again.
No, you can't. It was awesome. Some of the people came. That's so awesome that people are in. We have got to.
Aww.
I can't. I would do this all night, but every week we say, all right, we're going to keep this tight, and then we get caught up. Hey, one of the people wanted to talk about Suge. Wanted to talk about Halloween. Yeah. We're going to get to that because I talked to my daughters actually yesterday morning on the way to the car, but I think we're still like a month away. So we'll hold off on Halloween this year yet.
I think it's happening.
I know Sky wants to be. I asked him like, "What do you want to be for Halloween?" And he's like, "I want to be Marshmallow." I'm like, okay. This is a reflection of his musical taste. You guys know?
Oh, sorry. I was going.
So the performer, not the dessert.
Yeah. Not the
dessert. Not the okay. No sweets in my house. No, I'm kidding.
What's
your one son's like, I want to be a jug of apple juice.
Right? He's like, I'd really like to be that juice.
Can I actually grab you guys? I want to go grab. I'm very proud of something that I've made. My son, my sociopath, he actually was like, I was like, what do you want to be? This is the 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old. He was like, I want to be Emperor Palpatine. I was like, oh, also knows the worst. Like that would be like, I want to be Voldemort. Like it's the worst character of all time. I was like, well, they don't actually have kids costumes of that. And he's like, okay, I want to be BB-9E, which is the evil droid in Last Jedi. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. I had to make a BB-9E. So I'm actually enabling my son. I'll be right back. Don't go guys, please.
We won't go.
You go do your deal. We're going to wrap up in a second because I can't keep you guys too long. And honestly, I hear my kids kind of screaming. I think I need to put them to bed.
I got to go pick up River up by 8:45. So.
Oh, perfect. Let's wrap this up. Good. Claire, tell people where to come find you. And then we're going to cut these up into clips and we'll put up a little marker on it.
You guys are so amazing. Of course, at Clare Kramer on Twitter, at Clare Kramer Official on Instagram, and my podcast, We Are Fanatics, FANADDICTS.
I love it so much. It's so interesting.
Yeah, you guys have to come on. I really want Jamie.
Anytime.
Yeah, like you, Jason. Now we know you talk about MCU, but Jamie, in a minute, Kate, you really outdid yourself.
Thank you.
Wait, is that Tron or R2D2? What's happening? Or is it a ninja?
It's BB-9E, the evil droid from. God, no one's into Star Wars here, huh?
I thought you were from Mario.
When my daughter turned 8, I threw her a party, and it's great to BB-8, and she's like,
"Oh, dude, that's amazing."
She's like, I hate you.
Is it from what's it from? The Mandalorian or all the new Star Wars ones?
It's a movie called The Last Jedi. It's the Rian Johnson directed middle of the sequels as opposed to the prequels or the original trilogy.
I'll have to go through the whole.
He's a bad droid. Anyway,
Star Wars has a lot of baggage right now, but this is not a baggage situation. This is a great character.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love this.
Anyway, I'm going to leave it. I feel really good about this. Sort of feel like a Wisconsin cheesehead right now.
Yeah, a little bit.
Anyway,
I can't thank you guys enough. That hour flew by. It was super fun, and honestly, it's really it's fun to have moms because sometimes we're talking and I'm like, I feel like women hate us because we're just two idiot dads. So it kind of you honestly ends. It's like having someone to kind of.
I'm waiting for this analogy, Jamie. keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
It's
Like,
like
I know
having what?
it's like
What is specifically like me and Kate having?
Yeah, what is it?
it's like you
Angels?
guys have
Let
put the
us
stamp of
know.
approval to go like, they're not that stupid.
We are not.
Yeah.
You know what? I think you're underestimating how people feel about dads who are actively and happily dads. I think there's nothing you could do wrong that you both love being dads so much that you want to talk about your kids and talk about parenting. And
Well,
that's
we
like,
talked
that's
about this,
amazing.
and it's definitely
I
we
love that.
said this on stage the other night, how it's it's such a difference. Like, if your kids are misbehaving and the mom's there, people are so judgmental. They go, why can't that mom watch those kids? And yet if the dad's there and the kids are misbehaving, they're like, well, at least he's trying. Like, we get away
Yeah.
with
You know what though? Part of that is the misnomer that we carry as women and as mothers that like, hey, we have to personify perfection, which we don't. We really just need to be, and I try to be much more candid in my life and like, hey, I'm sorry, like I'm not perfect and my child is misbehaving and that's just how it is or whatever. And I think Kate, you're probably a lot the same way.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's why I think you guys are so
I make a
perfect
mistake
for what we
every
do,
day.
because you see other people's Instagram accounts and it's like, look how perfect they are. Look at the photos. And you're like, that's your life.
Hashtag mom life.
Yeah. Life.
Yeah. I have a cousin who actually hashtagged herself mom goals. And I was like, you and I are done.
Mom goals.
That's called breakup.
Here's the books I'm reading this summer. All right. Hey, listen. Hey, thank you. Thanks to Kate Mulligan and Clare Kramer for coming on to the show this week. Please, they have their little handles there. Follow them and check in. And I think that's it. Let's wrap this up. Thank you to everybody who came to the show in Pennsylvania.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, come back. We're here every Tuesday at 7. Jason, is there anything else we need to plug?
No, just check us out. The audio version of the show comes out on iTunes every Monday.
Yep. And if you do want, we actually sold a ton of Parents Lounge shirts. Everyone all of a sudden was like, hey, we like Parent Lounge shirts. So
Ask
come
your
find
mom.
us on our Facebook page, and there's a link to our store and stuff, and you can check it out. So, all right, we love you guys. Thanks so much, and we'll see you guys next week here on the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.
And everybody, don't forget to download Jamie's album. It's so awesome.
Oh, that's right. Homeschooled.
We haven't even talked about it. It's amazing. Honestly, I could not freaking stop laughing, and I'm not even joking. If anybody downloads it and doesn't enjoy it, hit me up for a refund.
I've been reading yeah. Also, don't forget to watch
publicity. I don't even plug my own album. Yeah, Homeschooled is out on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, basically.
I could not stop.
Oh, you're awesome, Claire. I love
Kate,
you.
say your thing.
No, I was going to say, actually, don't forget to watch Bring It On so that we can get Claire some more residuals.
You know what we should do, dude?
Those 2-cent checks.
No,
we should do it. We should do a watch along, Claire, where you watch Bring It On, and then we stop it. I've done that with a bunch of my friends where we watched it and stopped
Let's do that.
And that person told the stories about what was going on behind the scenes right there.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know how many of those I can tell.
I know, that's the problem.
We were so misbehaved.
That might have to be a private show. That might be a private.
But I'm happy to do that with any of my movies. There's a ton of great ones out there. But that would really, if we did that, I would probably get like Nikki B and Eliza to come on, and maybe Gabrielle to do it with me, and that would be super fun.
People are doing that where they're watching their shows, like the Office podcast or whatever, or they just did another one for something else. Yeah, where they do that. You should do that. It'd be super, because I love the behind the scenes stuff. That's, for me, that's super fun because it's so iconic of a thing. And then to hear, like, what was that choice made? Oh, I didn't make any choices. I totally improvised that in the moment, or it just fell in, or somebody said.
And you know what? You guys will appreciate this. It was like Bring It On was done on film. Like, wrap your head around that.
Oh my God, they actually checked the gate.
We were back in the day when we were doing these iconic things. It was a whole nother level of like financing, money, pressure. And everything else. So yes, we'll talk about that. We'll definitely have
nowadays they're like, we're just going to rehearse. I'm like, why are you rehearsing, dude? Just roll camera. It's digital.
Get me going. I'm a pro. I'm old school.
And then they run it and they go, yeah, that was garbage. All right, move on. So, all right, I love you guys. Let's get out of here.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you.
You know you're coming back. All right, that's it for the Parents Lounge. We'll see you guys next week.